Well, concerning EDLD, a couple of years ago, I was preparing for our March meeting, which we meet every year with our executive team, with the regional leaders, the area leaders. And this was probably late in the fall as I began to reflect upon the year and getting ready for the coming meeting. I found that I was striving a little bit. I was pressing in. And what happened was, I think the Lord sort of said, what are you looking for, Phil? And I sort of like realized, I'm sort of looking for a slogan. I want a new buzz. This isn't right. And I started just sort of waiting on the Lord, and he says, why don't you do the things that you've always done? And so, leaders, I just took a pen. I honestly did this. I just said, well, what, God? What are we talking about? He goes, announce the good news. Just good news. We're gospeliers. We share the gospel with the world. No matter how anxious and tense the world is, we don't bring that. We bring something peaceful, something hopeful. Announce the good news. I just wrote down the word evangelism. And then what happens when people respond to that? Well, we need to disciple them. That's what we've been doing for the last 4 decades, for the last 4 centuries, for the last couple of millenniums. It's not something new. And then immediately afterwards, and then out of those disciples, there are some leaders. Multiply them. Figure that out. Keep doing that. You'll never stop recruiting and training and releasing leaders. And then there was added to it the diversity. Diversity came from a broader conversation, but we realized this is a day when we have to press into this. Men and women from every generation, from the littlest guys to the oldest guys and gals, different ethnicities, etc. So, and then the phrase, do it again. So it's like, we're never going to get away from this. So I was thrilled. One thought that I had, and I love telling the pastors about this, was, are you kidding me, God? This is what you want me to take to the leadership of the Vineyard? Evangelism, discipleship, leadership? That's it? They're going to laugh at me. Because everyone's always looking for a new sexy slogan, a new gig. And the Lord says, no, do it again. And when you're done, do it again. And when you're done with another round, do it again. Pastors are under a constant pressure. Every week across the desk of pastors comes a lot of publicity, a lot of articles, magazines. I won't name them because that's not the issue. But it can create this incredible up and down. Like first we're going down this rabbit trail, now we're going down. All of a sudden, if you're not doing this, you are not relevant. If you're not ministering like this, you're irrelevant. If you haven't got this happening in your church, really, what are you doing? So pastors begin living under this pressure of the latest and the greatest. I think it can be quite destructive. I think it's also being culturally relevant. It really it's culturally driven instead of kingdom driven. And we are trying to address that. So at times it sounds like simplicity, but I think in the long haul, over the next 5, and what I've been saying to pastors is, I think after 10 years, we're not going to be disappointed if we have dug in with evangelism, discipleship, leadership, multiplication, and diversity. We will not be disappointed. So, in a sense, I think we're trying to release some pressure and take some heat out of the kitchen of always trying to come up with that new thing. And here's my closing thought on it. We have to make sure we don't lose confidence in the intrinsic power of the gospel to truly answer the cry of the human heart. We've got to believe that God is enough, Jesus is enough, the Spirit is enough. And so sometimes it just means stay on these things, do what we can.